Welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I would appreciate it if you go back and view previous episodes when you get time. I'm your host, Gerald Tabb. Today's episode is going to be about the man who inherited a bell that only rings for regret. There's a man in Inkster named Clyde who inherited a bell that only rings for regret. Not metaphorically, literally. A cast iron bell mounted on a crooked wooden frame in his backyard doesn't ring for wind or time or weather. It rings when someone nearby feels the weight of something they wish they'd done differently. Clyde's grandfather built it. Said it was forged from melted apology letters and the hinges of doors slammed during arguments. Said it was tuned to sorrow. Clyde didn't believe him until the bell rang the morning after Clyde ignored a call from his dying uncle. It was 6:14 a.m. The sky was the color of old bruises. Clyde was making coffee when the bell rang. Low, trembling, like a throat clearing before a confession. He froze, checked the backyard. No wind, no birds, just the bell, swaying gently, like it had something to say. He remembered the missed call, the voicemail. "Hey, it's me. Just wanted to hear your voice." Clyde hadn't called back. Said he was busy. Said he'd do it tomorrow. The bell rang again, louder, like it knew. Clyde started keeping a journal, called it the archive. Every time the bell rang, he'd write down what he was doing, what he was thinking, who he'd ignored. Over time, patterns emerged. The bell rang most often during silence, during hesitation, during moments when Clyde chose comfort over confrontation. He asked his neighbor, Marla, if she ever heard it. She said no. Said she didn't believe in haunted objects. Said regret was internal. Clyde disagreed. He said legacy is what echoes. Said the bell was proof. Marla shrugged, said, maybe your family just feels louder. There's a cafe in Dearborn Heights that only serves fast food based on family recipes. No substitutions, no fusion, just legacy on a plate. Clyde went there after a particularly loud bell morning. Ordered his grandmother's cornbread. The server asked, do you want it how she made it, or how she wished she'd made it? Clyde paused, said, wished. The cornbread came out dry, cracked, served with a note. She always regretted not adding honey. He cried, not because of the taste, because of the truth. Said legacy isn't perfection. It's the things we almost did, Clyde met a woman named Imani at a community art fair. She painted maps of cities based on emotional residue. Said she could feel where people had left pieces of themselves. Said regret had texture, like static wrapped in velvet. She painted Clyde's block, marked his house with a deep blue spiral. Said it felt heavy. Said the bell was a vortex. Said it pulled memory into sound. Clyde asked if she could paint his grandmother's house. She did. It was red, sharp, angular. Said it felt like someone who never forgave themselves. Clyde stared at the map for hours. Said it felt like reading a diary written in color. Clyde started hearing the bell in his sleep. Not ringing, echoing, like it was remembering something he hadn't lived. He'd wake up with phrases in his mouth. I should have stayed. Tell her the truth. Don't let it end like this. None of them were his. Not exactly, but they felt familiar, like inherited guilt. He asked Imani if regret could be passed down. She said yes. Said legacy is emotional DNA. Said we carry the unfinished sentences of our ancestors. Clyde nodded. Said the bell was a translator. Clyde found a journal in his grandfather's attic, leather-bound, smelled like tobacco and secrets. Inside were entries, short, clipped, like someone afraid of being overheard. Didn't go to her funeral, still heard her voice. Told Clyde's father to be strong. Should have told him it's okay to cry. Built a bell to say what I couldn't. Clyde read every page, felt the weight of each omission. Said the journal was louder than the bell. Said legacy isn't just what we inherit. It's what we're asked to finish. Imani invited Clyde to a gathering called the Regret Choir. Not a singing group, a listening ritual. People sat in a circle and spoke their regrets aloud. One by one commentary. No comfort, just sound. A man said, I never told my son I loved him. A woman said, I stayed too long. A teenager said, I pretended not to care. Clyde said, I didn't call him back. The bell rang outside. Everyone paused. Imani smiled, said, that's harmony. Clyde cried, not from shame, from relief. Said the bell wasn't punishment, it was punctuation. Clyde returned to the Legacy Cafe. This time, he brought his grandfather's cornbread recipe. The server asked, do you want how she made it? Or how he wished he'd made it? Clyde said, both. The dish came out in two halves, one sweet, one dry. Served with a note. He never knew which version was more honest. Clyde stared at the plate. Said legacy is contradiction. said we inherit both the truth and the doubt. At the flea market near 8 Mile, Clyde met a woman named Nia who sold jars labeled forgiveness. Inside were slips of paper with handwritten absolutions. You did your best. They knew you loved them. It's okay to let go. Clyde bought one, opened it. It said, "You're allowed to move forward." He tapped into the bell, said it changed the tone, said it rang softer, said it sounded like grace. Clyde started talking to the bell, not out loud, just in his head. Said it felt like a relative. Said it listened better than most people. He'd sit on the porch and think about the things he never said, the apologies he rehearsed but never delivered, the moments he let pass. One night, the bell rang while he was asleep. Woke him with a sound like a sigh. He walked outside. No wind, no movement, just a bell. He whispered, "I forgive you." It rang again, softer, like it was saying thank you. Clyde started writing letters, not to people, to moments. Dear Tuesday, I skipped the funeral. Dear silence after the voicemail. Dear version of me that didn't know how to grieve. He burned them in a tin can beneath the bell. Said the smoke carried the weight upward. Said legacy isn't just what we inherit. It's what we choose to carry, what we choose to release. Then Monty painted a new map. Clyde's house was now green, gentle. Said it felt like someone learning to forgive. Clyde modified the bell, added a second chime, tuned it to hope. Said regret and hope should ring together. Said legacy should include both. The new chime rang when someone made peace, when someone chose differently, when someone said, "I'm sorry," and meant it. The neighborhood changed. People started visiting the bell, not to confess, to recalibrate, to listen, to remember. Clyde called it the resonance ritual. Said it was the sound of healing. I don't know if Clyde still hears the bell in his sleep. I don't know if the second chime rings louder than the first. I don't know if regret ever truly leaves, but I do know this. Clyde started listening, started forgiving, started rewriting. He folded legacy into letters, into chimes, into maps. He carried the weight, then he shared it, then he let it go. And maybe that's enough. Maybe legacy isn't a burden. Maybe it's a bell, a sound, a choice. Maybe it's this story. Maybe it's you.